What's up guys, welcome to Munchkins Gaming, where we take your gaming to the next level. This is Munchkins, logging in to bring you another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video. And welcome to another Should You Pull video, where I give you my opinion whether you should pull or not for upcoming banners in Dissidia Opera Omnia. In this video, we are going to be taking a look at the Ultimate Pandemonium banner, which you can have a chance to get Edge and PENELO'S EX weapon alongside with their 15 and 35 CP, and the third wheel for this banner is going to be Istola. Before we start, leave a like, subscribe, and all that jazz. Without further ado, let's start this video. We'll start this video off with Edge's EX called the Murasame, I should say, which gives him the EX ability called Blitz Mirage, which is a 4-hit AoE Thunder Magic Brave attack plus a single target HP attack. This moderately increases the brave damage dealt to a single target and can overflow to 150% of his max brave and grants him the Mirage buff for 2 turns. Now Mirage has the following effects. It will grant him some brave regen and raises the party's evasion rate. This will have a slow recast speed, and at 1 out of 3 increasing the brave damage dealt. At 2 out of 3 will grant him Fierce Awakening for 6 turns, which basically gives him a Thunder enchant and raises the party's max brave as well. And at 3 out of 3 this will increase the recast speed for Blitz Mirage. And of course, if you do plan to realize this weapon at 0 out of 3, this will increase the brave potency once again and will have a 50% splash damage to non-targets. At 1 out of 3, this will moderately increase his attack and his max brave. At 2 out of 3, this will extend the duration of Elbin's teaching, or Teachings of Elbin, I think it is on the English version, by 2 turns, and recovers 1 use of his shock ability up to its initial value. And when the quest starts, he will have Elbin's teaching for 10 turns as well. And at 3 out of 3, when using his Blitz Mirage, this will now have an 8-hit brave hit, and increasing its total brave potency and increasing its max brave overflow limit. Now when Elbin's teaching is active, he will have access to the ++ variants for both his brave and HP attack. His brave attack will have an increased number of brave hits to 3 and slightly increasing the brave potency, while the HP attack ++ will have its number of brave hits increased to 2 and moderately increasing the brave potency, and will have a 120% max brave overflow limit. The bonus spear, I should say, you will be getting for this one is called Evasion Brave Gain. Basically, after evading a target, you will raise your brave by 40% of your initial brave. Okay guys, now let's talk about Edge's rework, which he will be getting when this event goes live. Let's talk about his Shock Extend first. This will have 2 extra uses for his Shock ability, which hasn't really changed. This will, however, increase the number of brave hits to 4 and increasing its total brave potency. It will have a max brave overflow of 120% and will give him a max brave up for 4 turns as well. This will also trigger an HP attack after use, which hasn't really changed much in terms of what he has right now. Obviously, the increase of brave hits and the increase of the brave potency is really nice and a nice addition to his shock ability. Now let's talk about Elbin's teaching attack O, which will get a slight rework. It will moderately increase the party's attack while Elbin's teaching. Currently, I believe it is only a slight increase, so there is a little bit of increase there. Now let's talk about Smoke Extend, which I think is the biggest change on Edge's rework. This will give him 1 extra use for smoke, which hasn't really changed. Now when you're using smoke, this will slightly raise the brave gain based on his attack and raises the party's brave based on his attack as well, and adds the effect of the small speed up into Teaching of Elbin, and increasing the duration of evasion rate up by 1 turn and increasing the duration of Teaching of Elbin by 4 turns. This will also inflict a medium attack down debuff to all enemies for 4 turns. This will also trigger a 2-hit Thunder Magic Brave plus HP attack after use, and the stolen brave can overflow up to 120% of his max brave. Now while Teaching of Elbin is active, he will have access to the plus variant for both his brave attack and his HP attack. His brave attack will be a 2-hit Thunder Magic Brave attack, which increases total brave potency and raises the party's brave based on the brave damage dealt. Now his HP attack plus is a Thunder Magic Brave plus HP attack, and raises the party's Brave based on his HP damage dealt. This will have a lower action delay as well. Okay guys, so after hearing all this information regarding Edge's rework and of course his EX plus, how much should you be investing on him? For me, I think you should start off at 1 out of 3. You can probably start at 0 out of 3 with him if you really want to. And max for me is going to be 2 out of 3. The main reason why I don't feel like going 3 out of 3 for Edge is I know he gets access to the ++ variants of his Brave and HP attack with 3 out of 3, which is really nice as well. You can definitely go there if you really want to. But for me, he doesn't really need those extra Brave hits, since his Brave hits are all AoE anyways. Maybe if you are fighting like a single target boss, then probably you would prefer to be obviously at 3 out of 3 so you can hit more and therefore you can cap on his Brave. But I feel like he would be very beneficial already when you're fighting like 2 bosses, because he's hitting both of them with the Brave hits, and it is only a single target 100% damage, and the other one is going to be a 50% splash damage to non-targets. So to me, I think, you know, 2 out of 3 is good enough. This is where he gets like Elbin's teaching, and you can recover 1 use of his shock ability as well. So to me, this is good enough at 2 out of 3. But definitely if you go 3 out of 3, you would be able to use him more on different stages because of the number of Brave hits, and of course the longevity, the ++ variants for his Brave and his HP attack is going to help you out there. Now as for the closest comparison, you'd be surprised that I actually put Cater here, because they pretty much have the same kit. They have one element that they're, you know, attached to, and they pretty much use the dodge system. Now mind you, it's not our Cater at the moment. I believe the JP version that pretty much got the rework for Cater kind of acts the same way. Cater is more of a AoE attacker, where Edge is more of a single target when it comes to his ability 1. So I think it's pretty close enough for me. Okay guys, moving on to Penelo with her EX weapon called Main Gosh? I don't know. But this gives her the EX ability called Intercession. This basically will deal the Brave damage to the target based on her initial Brave. And this is going to be followed up by an HP damage based on the Brave damage dealt. Now, you cannot break a target with this EX. This is the biggest thing that I kind of don't like about this EX, but we'll move on from that. This however does not consume her own Brave, which is something really nice upon dealing the HP damage, and will have a low action delay, and this also has a slightly fast recast speed. At 1 out of 3, this will basically nullify the action delay of Intercession. At 2 out of 3, when using Intercession, this will raise the ally's Brave based on the HP damage dealt. And at 3 out of 3, this will increase the recast speed for her EX ability. Now moving on to the realized version of this, at 0 out of 3, when you're using Intercession, the Brave gain can overflow up to 120% of her max Brave now, and increases the existing Ramba step or the Waltz step stacks by 1. At 1 out of 3 limit break, when the quest starts, this does not consume the ability use of on the first turn, and will slightly raise her max Brave overflow limit for this stolen Brave and gained on all abilities. And at 2 out of 3 limit break, this will greatly raise her max Brave and her attack as well. And finally, at 3 out of 3, when using Intercession, this will tremendously raise the Brave damage dealt based on the initial Brave, and moderately increasing the party's their HP based on the HP damage dealt up to 20% of their max HP. The bonus sphere that you are going to be getting for this one is Buff Success Brave Gain All. After granting a buff, it will raise each party member's Brave by 20% of their initial Brave. Okay guys, now let's move on to PENELO'S rework, which is a big rework for this character. We'll start this off with a C54 passive, buff attack and boost all. This will now moderately raise the party's max brave and slightly raising the party's attack while buff, whereas before I think it was just the attack. Now let's talk about Great Haste Extend. This will give 2 extra uses for Great Haste, and when you're using Great Haste, it will raise the party's brave based on her max brave and will grant 1 stack of Rumba Step for 4 turns with a max stacks of 3. It increases the duration of buffs granted by 3 turns, and this will dispel Waltz Step. This will have a lower action delay and does not increase the turn count. However, this does decrease the friend support count and the summon count as well. Now, while Rumba Step is active, you will get the Brave Attack plus Rumba and HP Attack plus Rumba version of her Brave Attack. The Brave Attack basically increases the number of brave hits to 2 and will slightly increase the total brave potency and raises the party's brave based on her max brave. The HP attack variant raises the brave based on her max brave, followed by a melee plus HP attack. Now when Rumba Step is at 3 stacks, you will have access to the plus plus variant of the Rumba version of her brave attack and HP attack. This will increase the number of brave hits to 3, increasing the total brave potency of the Brave Attack plus plus Rumba, and the HP Attack plus plus Rumba version will increase the number of brave hits to 2 and increasing the total brave potency once again, and will have a 120% max brave overflow limit. Now Rumba Step is a buff that will give PENELO initial brave attack and speed up, and will grant the party an attack up. However, the effect does not change based on the number of stacks. Now let's talk about the C58 passive, which also got a slight rework. The buff base boost moderately raises the initial brave and max brave while buff. I do believe it was just the max brave before, so you can, yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but I know it's only one of them beforehand. And finally, let's talk about her Region Waltz Extend. This will give Region Waltz 2 extra uses, and when using Region Waltz, this will raise the party's brave based on her max brave and will grant 1 stack of Waltz Step for 3 turns with a max of 3 stacks, increasing the duration buffs granted by 5 turns. This will dispel Rumba Step. This will not increase the turn count once again. However, this will decrease the friend and summon action count. While Waltz Step is active, you will again get the Waltz version of her Brave Attack Plus and HP Attack Plus. The Brave Attack Plus will raise the party's brave based on her attack, and the HP Attack Plus will raise the party's brave based on her attack as well. Now while you got 3 stacks of Waltz Step, you will get access to the plus plus variant of the Waltz version of both his brave and HP attack. So let's talk about the Brave Attack plus plus Waltz, which moderately raises the brave gain based on the attack and will slightly raise the brave potency. The HP Attack plus plus Waltz will moderately increase the brave gain based on her attack once again, and the gain brave by the party can overflow to 120% of their max brave. And Waltz Step will have the following effects. This will again raises the initial brave attack and speed of PENELO and will grant the party an HP region and a brave region as well, and the effect does not change based on the number of stacks. Okay guys, after hearing all this information regarding PENELO'S EX Plus weapon and of course her rework, how much should you be investing on PENELO? Now in my opinion, you should start this off at 1 out of 3 limit break. And the main reason for this is basically that no consumption of that ability used on the first turn, which is really nice, and of course increasing the max brave overflow limit from all her stolen brave and brave gained as well on all her abilities, which is really nice. Now at max, I would really just cap this off at 2 out of 3. Now that's my honest opinion. If you are pretty low in resources, you can just cap it off at 2 out of 3. Because this is where she actually gains more max brave and attack. You can get away with just 1 out of 3 like I mentioned, because that's the minimum amount. Now going 3 out of 3 for PENELO is not a bad investment as well, because this is where she gets more brave damage dealt, you know, for her EX ability. The caveat here is increasing that brave damage dealt is nice and all, however she cannot break the enemies, so you will be doing a lot of HP damage though, so that is the plus on that. And of course you get your turn straight away after using her EX, because this does not have an action delay. Basically you will have the next turn and you can use her HP attack once again if you really want to. To me though, you can get away with 2 out of 3 if you are pretty low in resources, but I wouldn't really, you know, judge you if you go 3 out of 3 with Penelo. I am most likely may go 3 out of 3 on Penelo if I don't really get Edge's EX. I'm still in a bit of a toss-up stage regarding maxing her out. So, but it's not a bad investment at all. Especially you get the bonus sphere that you can attach to Penelo, basically giving the entire party like 20% of brave based on their initial brave. So that is actually really nice, especially when she buffs basically most of the time. Okay guys, now let's talk about the closest comparisons that I can do with Penelo. I do believe she is like a better version of Ignis, and the main reason I say a better version is because she actually doesn't increase the turn count with both her abilities, which is something that Ignis is lacking. Now Ignis will have no action delay with all his abilities. Penelo will have a lower action delay on Great Haste, however with regen walls, unfortunately this does not have like a lower action delay, so you're probably gonna use Great Haste at the start and just build up that stack. Now the reason why I have the Onion Knight here is because of the stacking mechanic. It works the same way. Basically you have 2 different stances when it comes to Penelo, either the Walt step or the Ramba step. So basically you will have an option to switch around whether you need more of a offensive attacking power or you need some HP regen and brave regen for some defensive power as well. So that's the only reason why I put Onion Knight there. Not that she acts like Onion Knight at all, it's just the stacking mechanic kind of works the same. Okay guys, so we're towards the end of this video, but the question remains, should you pull? Like Lightning says, in some things in life you just do, and in this manner you just pull. Okay, whether you have a group of support characters already that are ready to go to tackle the Chaos era, I do highly suggest still pulling on this banner, because Penelo is going to be one of the greatest support characters that we will be getting during the Chaos era. Now she is the one that you're going to be going after in this banner. Edge is nice and he's going to be decent, but Penelo is what a lot of people will be looking at this banner. And yeah, use your tickets, use your gems if you have to, but just try to get her EX. She is going to be really great. And I guess the sub price is you will be getting Edge, which is a decent magic DPS as well. Not to mention he has some sort of dodge mechanic attached to him as well, and he will provoke like the enemies and he will dodge, basically giving you free turns as well. So that is really nice when it comes to Chaos stages. So highly recommend on pulling once again. And yeah, that's just my opinion, guys. Please do remember to click like and subscribe if you haven't already. It does help my channel to grow, and of course it helps with the YouTube algorithm. Make sure to follow me on Twitter and on Facebook. I am there at Munchkins Gaming. Leave down in the comments below if you plan on pulling, and I guess if you're not planning to pull, let me know down in the comments below. Maybe you have some great reason why you are not actually pulling on this banner. Let me know down there. This is Munchkins logging off, and I'll see you guys in the next level.